Have you ever felt?
Shut up and sit down.
YouTube,
It's hard. It's hard.
so I'm doing it. And I'm just
You want to stop me? Make your own channel. This YouTube thing, it ain't real simple too. Hey YouTube, it's Piper. I'm coming to you with a tag. This tag is a tag that I created. And I created this tag because I kept seeing other tags and I didn't know if I qualified for those tags. And I was like, I want to do something different. I love doing the recaps and reviews, but I don't want my channel to get all stagnant because there's just a whole bunch of recaps and reviews with nothing in between those. I had watched a couple of other YouTubers do the truthful YouTuber tag, and I guess some YouTuber created that, and I think it was specifically for the beauty community or beauty gurus. I obviously am not, even though I do have makeup on today, but my face is still telling me it wants to rebel. So I wanted to do this tag because I've seen a whole bunch of people. If you're on Instagram, if you're following me on Instagram, which you should be, and I will link my Instagram in the description box. It always is there, as well as also I will try to put it up here somewhere. So the last video I did, that was kind of a bonus one, talking about the whole Jussie Smollett and Chloe and Tristan and Jordan beef, or cheateration. So I decided I wanted to do a tag because I saw so many people who do things on Instagram where they do like the glow up, and that's what everybody was doing when they were doing that 10-year challenge. They were going from like what I looked like 10 years ago versus the glow up, which is now. And I saw that YouTube has a version of that too, where a lot of YouTubers are like posting stuff and they're showing what they look like 10 years ago versus what they look like now. And it got me thinking about the fact that a lot of YouTubers, especially YouTubers who have been around for a long time before YouTube was like the massive thing that it is now, I thought that a lot of those YouTubers who've been around probably have changed quite a bit. And a lot of people's channels have either been changed completely, they've changed the direction of their channel, like so much stuff has changed. So I thought, what better way to do like a glow up situation than to do a Channel Glo-Up Tag. And so I'm going to be discussing or answering questions, and I'll link the questions in the description. And if you want to do the tag, great. I researched this on YouTube and there is not a tag already about this. The only glow up thing they had was people changing their 10-year challenge, but in video form. This is different. This is your channel mostly, and then some other questions thrown in there. So this is the Channel Glo-Up Tag. Let's get into it. I have had a YouTube channel since June 1st of 2007, but I didn't actually post any videos of my own until February of 2011. And that was just like fantasy book characters or fantasy trailer for the book that I was writing at the time and everything like that. So that was my very first like content I put out there, but I don't think anybody watched those forever. Those were just like stuff that I liked, and that was it. And I didn't really care if anybody did see those, because for me it was just all about like me liking doing that because it was helping me get the creative juices flowing while I was writing. And I already answered the second question, the dream cast that I had created, where some people do dream casts for different books that they have read, and they do pictures of like the celebrities that they feel like best represent the characters in the book that they've read. And so I thought that was interesting, and I liked having the idea of putting a face to my characters, and so I thought that would be cool, and I was bored probably, and I did that. And my most viewed video is Why I Only Date White Guys? ? That one blew up. Obviously, I'm not like super YouTube famous, but that one blew up quite a bit and had a lot of backlash. And that one blew up. That was my third video ever posted on my channel. And that one blew up without me even realizing it. I literally was like laying in bed one day, and it was just right before I got up, And all of a sudden, my notifications on my phone just kept going off one by one by one. It was just constant going off. And I was thinking, what in the heck is this? Like, I never get this many emails because it makes the sound, it used to make the sound my emails would make. And so I was like, I don't know what this is. And so then I looked and I had like 1,000 messages or comments on my video. I had all of this stuff, like people subscribing, people doing all this stuff. And I was like, what is that from? I don't understand. And I was called all sorts of bed witches and Uncle Toms and Oreos and fake and whatever else, and called all sorts of names. And I was shocked because I was like, this video, because this wasn't just immediately after I posted that video. This was like probably a year after I posted that particular video, maybe less, but ultimately it was a long time after I posted that video initially, and probably only maybe like 20 or 30 people have watched it when I first put it up, and to that date that was all it was, and I didn't think anything of it, and I just thought it was like this thing that I did. I was annoyed one night and I had been seeing that people do this on YouTube and they like post stuff, so I said, okay, I want to do that because I'm being irritated by an assumption about me. And so that's how Why I Only Date White Guys was born, and it took off and literally impacted a lot. So it accounts for like most of my views on my channel. Like it has a lot. When I started YouTube, I did not have a goal. I thought that whenever I was writing, because like I said, I did the Dreamcast videos first, and I kind of thought that it would just be something that I watched and repeat, when I was writing, and I thought that it might be cool. And then I was also of the mindset that like, hey, when I'm building this platform as a author versus a screenwriter, because I had written 16 screenplays and I never really shared those with anybody, and like won some awards and even options in screenplays. And so I thought, I want to do novels now. So this is when I was first like jumping into doing novels, and I thought that it would be cool that people would end up, reading my novel and really liking it because I'm that self-absorbed, or I'm that cocky. I was like, everybody's gonna love it and they should have a Dreamcast to look at. I was stupid. I kind of thought that would be cool, that if people read my book and then they saw the Dreamcast, they would understand and be able to put two and two together and really like attach to me, the author. And I didn't have any other expectations for my channel. I didn't plan to post any more videos. I didn't even know if I wanted to. I didn't know that people were doing YouTube like that. And in that time, people really weren't doing YouTube like that. There were like a select few, obviously, that really were doing YouTube, but this was prior to even really monetization, or really prior to a lot of different things. So life was just different on YouTube at that time. So I had no goal. My goal was to just put up whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and that was it. Like I said, I had a YouTube account all the way back in 2007, but all I was watching on YouTube were just music videos. I didn't even realize that people actually posted like their private life or their thoughts or just anything. I didn't even realize that was a thing. And it really wasn't that big of a thing at that time. So, and not in 2007. So I was just watching it. So when I ended up posting content, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it would go nowhere. So I didn't even have a plan. And also, my first, my video that was controversial, I did do that one though. Not intentionally to be controversial, but I did it only because I was annoyed one night. And I thought, I'm so tired of this question that I keep getting. I'm going to vent because I'm frustrated. The original direction of my channel was just solely to put up stuff about my writing, and it was just another avenue to explore, and I was putting together playlists that I would use to let autoplay so that I could write and be listening to exactly the music that I wanted to keep me in that headspace when I was writing. So that was what my direction was initially, but it changed drastically, which is the second part of that question. The reason why it initially changed was, again, out of frustration with a question that was constantly asked to me or assumptions that were constantly made about me. So I thought that, I had never had anybody who really understood my lot in life, and I thought that when I did that, I thought, okay, now that I've got all these views and it's gone viral and or sort of viral, I felt like that was what I wanted to keep doing, because amongst all of the hateful comments, I was getting some really good comments and a lot of comments from women of color, and not just Black, but lots of women who were I really relate to what you were saying, and I thought that was awesome. So I wanted to embrace that and help people see that they weren't alone, and to help build confidence and tolerance and show diversity and just really express acceptance, just to really express acceptance in the interracial community, because there is a community for it. I don't know how big it is anymore, but it's still a community. And that also branched into how I became friends with some of the other YouTubers that I became friends with, and it also parlayed into how I built my show that I do on YouTube. And if you don't know about that show, I will probably put a card or something up here so that you can go look at the show. It used to be called It's a Swirl World, and now it's Love and Swirl. So check it out. There's videos archived there. Unintentionally, yes. And I don't really know how it happened. Like I said, when I did the video, the Why I Only Date White Guys, I ended up suddenly getting like so many views, and my inbox was full. Like it filled so many times. And so I didn't really think anything of it. But then, I'm not going to say the YouTuber who reached out to me, but he's a very controversial black man who doesn't like black women. I'll just leave it at that. And you do the math and figure out who it was. But he reached out to me, and he was of the mind that he wanted to have permission to use my video on his video or on his channel, or use pieces of my video on his channel. And I went and looked at what he does and was baffled by the fact that I know exactly how he wanted to use it, and it was going to be basically a smear campaign about me. So that created a lot of beef in that situation. And then I also had beef with just commenters in general. I mean, there was just a lot of people who commented, and I don't really count them because they're not YouTubers, or at least most of those people weren't, but that was my first taste of like YouTube beef with another actual YouTuber whose channels get constantly shut down by YouTube. So that should tell you something about him. I don't know if I've ever been surprised so much as taken aback. I guess that's kind of surprised too. But just I was really floored at how cruel people could be. And I don't know why I didn't see that. And I'll be honest, I just barely started reading comments on YouTube videos. Not mine personally, but on videos of like other people, especially because I love the drama channels and I love, just certain YouTubers that I've just rocked with forever. I never used to read their comments or what people were saying to them. I would just watch their video, like it if I liked it, and keep it moving. But I started like reading comments, and just recently. But when that video that I did got really popular and people were leaving comments, the hate that people left was astounding. Like, I mean, I had death threats, people threatening to kill myself and my kids and my whole family. And I was like, thank God I don't include my kids on my channel. But they just, a whole bunch of things. And I was shocked because I just didn't understand how a video that obviously, clearly they didn't watch, how that could manifest in like these negative comments. And so I was really shocked that there were that many hateful people in the world. And not even necessarily so shocked by the hateful people, but the people who had ended up being hateful. It was a lot of the black community, and I'm not saying everyone because it wasn't, but it was a ton of black males. But most of the negative comments and threats that I got were all from black men, and very rarely was it from a black woman. And I got just reamed, and there was a time where I just wanted to like close up and not have my channel anymore, because I felt like I was going to delete the video, because I just felt like people weren't watching it and they weren't hearing, and I thought I came off a little flaky. I was looking all around, and it wasn't even that I was intentionally looking around. It was that I did have notes that I had written because I wanted to state myself clearly and make sure that I was understood. So I had written myself notes. And so everybody was like, yeah, why are you looking all around? And then people were like saying, oh, your hair is a weave, which was hilarious because it wasn't a weave. So I was really shocked. And I mean, people were just cruel and coming for me. I did have some like white nationalists, white supremacists, KKK, I think, members also contact me too. But ultimately, it was a lot of, speaking of social media and things, Instagram. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of those things happened, and I was just really shocked at the comments that I got and the cruelty that people felt comfortable dishing out for somebody they didn't even know, and for somebody they hadn't watched the video. They'd read the title, and because punctuation and grammar is fundamental and reading is fundamental, they did not look at the fact that I was answering a question and not making a statement. No, I wish I could. I wish I had it like that, but no, I'm not a career YouTuber. Damn it, Instagram is killing my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe. Instagram don't kill my vibe. I did not expect to have a career during YouTube. And again, like I said, at the time that I even first started my YouTube account, nobody really had it as a career, at least not that I knew of. And I was watching a lot of the beauty gurus at the time. Some of the first people I subscribed to were people who did like beauty and stuff. And I was really hooked on watching most of that at the very beginning. So I was watching like videos for the most part. Then when I realized that there was more than music on YouTube, I was watching a lot of the women doing like just makeup, and mostly all women of color and not just black. I'm saying women of color because it was just all different women, but mostly women of color. I do, however, now have a lot of other beauty influencers and stuff that I like that are not just women of color. But at that time, that was all I was searching through. And then I went down this rabbit hole of finding all of these people who were like interracially dating and all of that kind of stuff. And so it just parlayed into something a lot more than what I originally intended it. But I never thought it was going to be a career. I was just hoping that it would help in my writing career as far as making it accessible to people and giving people a face to put to the author and stuff like that. So no, it's not a career, although I would definitely like if it was, paying some bills. That would be great. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, this is just so not money oriented. You see the videos I put out. Those are heavily edited, and I spend way more time editing and just getting videos together than I ever would have at like a full 9-to-5 job. So yeah. Those are the people who basically leave crap comments. At first, I was crushed when I got my first several negative comments. And when I say negative, I mean like vicious and cruel, evil comments. And when I got those first ones, I actually was devastated. I was hurt. I did not have a thick enough skin. And I thought I did have a thick enough skin because like as a writer, you get critiqued all the time and people will drag your writing. But it's different. And for some reason, I felt, because it's myself and it was just part of myself that I was putting forward, it was a personal attack. And I felt so bad. Originally, I was trying to respond to some of them, but then it just got stupider and stupider and stupider. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're turning me into a moron just trying to reply to them. So I stopped replying to them, and then I exercised my block hand, and my block hand got strong, and I started blocking people. Like I've always said, you guys will be surprised at my block list. It is huge. And I used to feel bad when I blocked people, but now there's no shame in my game. I'm like, sorry, this is my channel. I can say whatever I want. These are my opinions. This is my space. But before, I was not good at handling it. I was the opposite at good at handling the keyboard thugs and keyboard warriors. Yes, it's actually funny because guys have actually tried to date me and pretend like they didn't know me, but they really had seen all my YouTube, and I was like, that's super creepy. And I've had people hit on me, all of that. But my very first experience of getting noticed specifically for YouTube was when I was at this mall in Arizona called Arizona Mills Mall, and I was there, and this was like forever ago, and it was right after like my one video blew up. And I was there, I don't know where, I think I was getting something to eat in the food court, and this guy kept staring at me, and I was just like, dude, take a picture, it'll last you longer. And then finally he came up to me, and he's like, hey, I know you. I was like, I'm pretty sure you don't. He's like, yeah, I know you, and my girlfriend makes me watch your videos. And I was shocked. I was like, thanks. Like, I don't know, thank your girlfriend for me. It was hilarious, but it was also flattering because I have been in the entertainment industry, so like I've always said, like, it's not necessarily is YouTube a sort of thing that like I ever thought would make me any sort of like, give me any sort of notoriety, but I ended up getting people who like wanted to know me or like who were shocked and happy to see me, which I thought was kind of weird. But I have absolutely been recognized in real life. And it kind of sucks though, because I was on the radio for so long in Arizona and not that many people reached out immediately like they did after my YouTube. So a lot of people measure success of their YouTube channel by the views that they get, the fans that they have, just everything. And I've seen so many people come and go off of YouTube. I don't know if I necessarily think that there's any level I could get to on YouTube that would make me feel successful per se, at least not like a successful YouTuber. I do like the idea that I can be influential, and that to me is success. If I am reaching people, if I'm opening people's minds and expanding their knowledge base on race especially, making people feel accepted and all of that, then yeah, that's success to me. And I have gotten several emails from girls, women of color specifically, who've been like, I was so ashamed and I've been judged so harshly that the fact that I'm attracted to like white men or just men of a different color. And they've said like, watching your video helped me feel like I was okay and I was not wrong and that there were other women like me. And I thought that was really good. So that's what I measure success by. Depends. I have left some comments up on my channel that are like kind of sketchy as far as like they're kind of weird and they border on very inappropriate, but ultimately if it's a polite way of disagreeing with me or just sharing your own thoughts, I try not to monitor those or take those comments down. However, threatening and super negative comments I do delete and I do block those people. That's just what I'm allowed to do. I said it's my channel, I do what I want, but yes, I do block those people from it. I would say don't start a YouTube channel unless you are absolutely made of Teflon, because the internet loves to judge and people are bored at times and they're at home and they don't know what to do with themselves, and what they decide to do is go on YouTube and just be horrible examples of human beings in the comments for people. And if you're not made of tough stuff, it will eat you alive to have that much negativity come your way. And unfortunately, with any positive, there's a negative. It's a double-edged sword. And so you will have people who really love you and really accept you, or you will have people who hate you and they will come for you on YouTube, and they will go no holds barred and be vicious and cruel and threatening and just horrible human beings. So I say, if you're looking to get onto YouTube and start a YouTube, be sure that you are made of some tough stuff, because I learned through just having my emotions like everywhere. I mean, literally, like I would never cry or anything on camera, and I actually ended up doing another two-videos, a two-part video on why I only date white guys, and I'll put a card up here so you can see those videos, because I did 2 more only because I wanted to address some of the negative comments, not all of them, and I didn't include names, but I did think that it was good to just let it air that stuff out. I don't know if it was surreal necessarily that it was cool. I ended up becoming friends with like several people that I never ever would have met if it wasn't for YouTube. So this also answers another question in this too, like how has YouTube changed your life? And that's how it's changed. It opened my very limited world and opened it up to other people, and people who I became friends with, like Dee, who does Love and Swirl with me, as well as Danny. I don't think I ever would have met them. Even Mel, who used to do the show with us, who we originally, it was myself and Mel and Dee that created It's a Swirl World that changed into Love and Swirl, but I met them and I would never regret meeting them. Like that to me was not necessarily surreal, but it was nice that like I could build friendships with other people who are YouTubers too. This is actually my main channel. I do have another channel. I actually have 2 other channels, but I don't have any videos on them. But for some reason, I ended up accidentally creating another YouTube, and so I have that one that I never post on. I don't even ever go into that account, but when I go through the little thing, I know it's one of the options I can pick. But this is my main channel, and I also have Love and Swirl, aka what used to be It's a Swirl World. That's my other channel, but that's co-owned by Danny and Dee and I, so. For me, no. I do not consider myself YouTube famous. An influencer, I guess I kind of influence people sometimes, every once in a while. I don't know, not everybody tells me. But as far as like, if I think I'm tough stuff, no. There's tons of YouTubers that are like super huge and they have what is YouTube fame. But like I've always said, and like I said in one of my other videos, I don't necessarily look at YouTubers as celebrities, but there are definitely fans and things like that. And so those people are what would be YouTube famous, I guess. So while I don't identify that way, I know that there's probably a lot of other people that do. I have learned that if you can get past the negativity and just all the trolls and everything like that, because you're always going to have these people who just love to be vicious and cruel. If you can get past all of that, I think that YouTube is a really positive outlet sometimes. It can backfire. There are some people who very much overshare on YouTube, like some pretty big name YouTubers overshare and get themselves into all sorts of drama. I am very private. What I don't include in my channel, I never even allude to, so that it's not open to everyone, and so I keep that little part of it for me, which originally I think probably fell into the trap of like kind of giving everything, including my anger, to negative comments, and I was giving just emotions away. But I've learned to like reel that in, and so I have learned that there's just always going to be people that don't like you, no matter who you are in this world, no matter what race, religion, sexual orientation, whatever the case may be. People will not like you, and you just have to get used to it and roll past them and focus on the positive instead of the negative. So that's what I learned from YouTube. And I also learned, like I said, it can be a very positive outlet if it's your way of just like tapping into your creativity or expressing yourself. Like, I think YouTube is so amazing for self-expression, and it has its like highs and lows, because like I said, there are people who overshare, but I think that it also really ends up opening you up, and sometimes for the better. It takes an introvert and makes them appear like an extrovert. Like me, I am way more shy in real life than I ever am on YouTube, and I probably come off as a little bit of skittish, but yeah, it gives me another place to just vent or even just be me. You know, sometimes your world can be full of people and you don't have a lot of people that really know you, or you can't really expose certain parts of your personality. I've learned on YouTube I can expose those things, and as long as it's in a good light, but sometimes, you know, like I said, oversharing. But yeah, I can be me, and I can meet people and discover that I'm not the only one. And I think that's a really good thing. That's what I've learned, is that I'm not the only one who has struggled with certain things. I'm not the only one who's dealt with certain things. And so it has given me a platform to express myself. That is all for this video. And if you want to do this tag, it is called the YouTube Channel Glo-Up Tag, and tag me so that I can see your video if you do it. If you don't, then let it roll. But nobody can end up doing this. I have not been getting all that great of views on my channel lately, so I might be the only person that ever does it. I hope that other people do it and show pictures of how their channel has changed from when they first started versus now. So like, subscribe, comment, share, smoke signal, Morse code, carrier pigeon, wind talker, 2 cups and a string, 2 cans and a string. Tell somebody that knew somebody that knows somebody that, hey, Piper's got a new video. But do whatever you do and share it. I will talk to you later, Peaches.
Shut up and sit down.